going to go. Apparently, Trump's going on is going to tape a thing with Joe Rogan. Do you think she should do that?
I think that she should keep calling Donald Trump a fascist. And I think that Americans need to keep looking at the rhetoric of Donald Trump, because I don't know why we're even thinking about electing somebody who's talking about putting people in camps. I don't know why why we want to elect somebody who's talking about mass deportation. I don't know why we're having this conversation about somebody who wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. Aren't we supposed to be a patriotic country? Whenever somebody like Colin Kaepernick takes a knee in this country, everybody talks about, oh, that's so unpatriotic. But a guy can say he wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election and nobody cares.
And
like even me bringing it up now, you brought it back to Kamala and Joe Rogan. Anderson?
Yeah.
Who gives a damn?
Well, I mean, I think you give damn who's elected president, and I'm asking
if that president is a fascist. That's talking about putting people in camps. That's talking about, once again, terminating the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. That's talking about, jailing his political opponents. Like, that rhetoric doesn't scare people.
And see, this is why you can't take these shills seriously. Honestly, everything that he's saying that he's trying to use to describe Trump is actually describing Nancy Pelosi, Biden, and Kamala. Biden just said the other day he wanted to lock up his political opponent, and Nancy Pelosi and Kamala, they booted Biden out to put Kamala in. What do you mean democracy when nobody voted for her? Really? Now they're starting to turn on each other. Kamala's campaign is going down in flames, and now all these folks in the fake mainstream media that's been colluding with each other to lie to us about Kamala Harris, they're starting to lash out on each other. I'll explain more in a second, but look, the bought and paid for a boule shill Angela Rye went on CNN and Anderson Cooper. She's just a chihuahua with no power or real influence herself, so she couldn't really deliver the blow to the mainstream media like she wanted. That's why she enlisted her simp enforcer Leonard McKelvey, aka Charlamagne the God, to be the Rottweiler for Kamala and the black feminists. All those misandrists working behind the scenes to trick the black community into supporting this Indian lady. It's the black feminists working with the white feminists to bring down the black men and the white men, as well as any of the women who are actually thinking logically like the men. Yeah, Angela Rye is a part of a large boule group of women whose primary responsibility is to trick the black community into supporting this non-black, anti-black woman. They go to CNN, that's a part of the mainstream media that's been giving Kamala 90 to 100% positive coverage, depending on the network, and they've been doing this since the end of July when Nancy Pelosi forced Biden off the ballot. Nothing but positive coverage. And now, since Kamala performed horribly during that easy CNN town hall, the feminists and the simps are angry. Instead of blaming Kamala and her team for being so incompetent, fake, and phony, remember, this lady can't even answer multiple choice style questions. And she's the vice president of the United States. Totally embarrassing, by the way. But no, Angela Rye and Charlamagne, they're not blaming Kamala. Instead, they're all sitting on these group chats together, figuring out how they're one, going to blame men, and two, blame racism. That's why they're starting with the mainstream media, which they're a part of too, implying that they're all racist, when all they've done for 90 days was gaslight the world and support this Indian, Canadian, Irish, and now thanks to Candace Owens, we found out that she's been hiding that she's Syrian Jew too. Why she hid that, I don't know. But it was funny how everybody was running around calling Drake white boy for like the whole summer. But you literally have this woman right here that's more white than him, and all of these shills are insisting that we still call her black, which is what Angela Rye also did in this segment too. She eventually went on this rant about Kamala being a black woman, which again, she's not. Remember, I've been telling y'all she's not like us. And side note, she ran down to Atlanta again for that check balance.
2024, you got the same agenda. You run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. Let me break it down for you. This the real challenge.
She's been popping up in Atlanta every day. It's like Kendrick Lamar made that song just for her. It's also amazing how no one remixed that song for her yet, when a lot of the stuff Kendrick is saying is even more relevant to this woman's history. She has no black lineage at all. But yeah, Kamala being a Syrian Jew, it shouldn't be a big deal. But if you're trying to hide all your real family members to blackify yourself and make yourself black for votes, I guess you have to hide all the non-black people except for the obvious, her anti-black Indian mama. But I digress. One thing about it though, CNN has been the main supporter of Kamala Harris since those billionaires and Nancy Pelosi, the threats to democracy, installed this Indian Canadian woman. I'm talking night after night, over 95% positive coverage, while they gave her opponent Donald Trump 100% negative coverage, and they gave zero coverage to Jill Stein and Cornel West. All of this to help their curry queen. And that's still not enough for her shields.
We talked about this every single. This is what
I don't think
I've been
y'all
talking
talk
about this
enough.
every night.
I don't think y'all have enough conversations about it. I feel like I heard more on this network about is Kamala Harris black than I do about, Donald Trump being a fascist.
When I first heard Charlamagne talking, before even realizing Angela Rye was there too, the first thing I was thinking was this guy sounds just like Angela Rye. See, years ago, before Charlamagne started getting with these crazy shills, when he had a mind of his own, and before he started pushing all of these weird agendas, they actually did better interviews back then on The Breakfast Club. But since he's had all these feminists in his ear programming him, he's only an extension of them. This is why most of the time, he sounds like an Angela Rye parrot. That's because of all of these wacky misandrists. This was the witch that was able to cast the most effective spell on him. He literally just said that he heard more talk on CNN about if Kamala was black, which is a whole lie. CNN, just like the other mainstream media, including The Breakfast Club, is currently ignoring the mountain of evidence proving that Kamala Harris is not black, and none of them are saying a word about it. Judge Joe Brown exposed this 5 years ago. Then they made the worst mistake ever, sending D.L. Hughley out on Janet Jackson, which is what ignited Candace Owens. Yeah, if they had never gone after Janet Jackson like that, Candace Owens would have never exposed Kamala. They just kept on bullying and beating up on everybody so bad, which is another reason why you cannot trust the mainstream media. None of them. Broadcast TV or broadcast radio. They're all bought and paid for. Yeah, if Charlamagne and CNN had done their job, Candace Owens wouldn't have had to even do this. This woman is trying to be the president of the United States, and none of them went outside of that lazy Google search, which only insists that this woman is Indian and Jamaican, when we all know that Jamaican does not mean black. But that's the game that all of them try to play on us, every last one of them. Charlamagne, you too. I'm not even stunned Angela Rye, because the way she stunned before a non-black, anti-black woman with all these slave masters falling out her closet, she probably not one of us either. But Charlamagne should know better. You knew that lady wasn't black. All of y'all still trying to run with that lie. So yeah, Candace Owens, she did all this research and confirmed this lady is not a black woman. And you know what the mainstream media did? They all ignored it. So Charlamagne, that's a lie. No one's talking about this woman's race on mainstream media. Angela is the one who brought race up on the show. In this segment, Angela was the first to mention racism and blame CNN for not talking about Donald Trump being racist, when that's all they've been talking about. The beginning of this interaction did not get out. They only clipped Charlamagne's part. But Angela was the one who initiated and instigated this whole argument. This is what the feminists do all the time. They will book a black man for a fight and have him take the bullet.
We talked about this every single. This is what
I don't think
I've been
y'all
talking about
it
this
enough.
every night.
I don't think y'all have enough conversations about it. I feel like I heard more on this network about is Kamala Harris black than I do about, Donald Trump being a fascist.
Well,
am I wrong, Angela?
Honestly, that's bull. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like that.
That's no,
Go
that
ahead,
is
Anderson.
no. I'm not. Look, I'm a huge fan of yours.
Okay.
But to say that we're sitting around discussing is Kamala Harris black,
I've seen that. I've seen
that's
those roundtable
definitely
discussions
on.
a lot. Now
That's
that's
true.
bullshit, Anderson. For you to say that y'all don't have those conversations.
I've never asked somebody is.
I'm not saying
Kamala
you.
Harris
I said
Not
the
you.
network.
He said the network.
I don't think anyone I don't think any anchor on this network has been going around saying, "Is she black?"
Y'all have never
It's
had
definitely.
we have
been,
had. Look, I'm sure we have had, nutty people or people who have strongly held beliefs who I may disagree with, who somewhere on some panel have said something. But I will just speak up for what I do on the show. I do believe it's important to get people different viewpoints as long as they're willing to have a legitimate conversation. What I don't like are surrogates who come out and just spout talking points that they don't even believe, and those are people I try to eliminate from having ever on the air again.
I think no
And look at Angela's face right now when Anderson Cooper said he didn't want some Kamala surrogates on his show just saying things they didn't even believe themselves, not trying to have a serious conversation, which was her town hall from the previous night and what she should be doing over the next week and a half to gain more support. But you see what they got him on here doing? They specifically had Angela Rye come on there and bring Charlamagne with her to deflect the conversation and make this all about racism against a black woman that's not even black. And by the way, that's the racism that they're not even talking about. They got a whole Rachel Dolezal Jr., a pretending chameleon, cosplaying as a black American woman, and they have nothing to say about that. This is absolutely crazy. You can't make this stuff up.
No network has honest conversations about Donald Trump. Nobody's had honest conversations about Donald Trump since 2016. I saw last night they were talking about, the double standard that exists between Donald Trump and the vice president, but it's always a double standard with Trump, whether it's with Hillary, whether it's, against Biden, now with Kamala. We talk about him being a threat to democracy, but we don't treat him like one.
I don't know what you've been watching, but I don't know of any Trump supporters out there or people who like him who are tuning in to me every night to try to get, to be validated in their opinions. I don't know. I don't know. I disagree.
I don't think it's about validating. What do you mean, validating the Trump?
Well, you're saying that we're not, that I guess you're saying I'm not discussing all the things he is saying and doing and pointing it out.
She was cackling it up moments before this, trying to double team Cooper with Charlamagne, lashing out on their own media friend that's been on their side the whole time. But when Cooper started snapping back on them, Angela turned her face into this. And if I had the rest of the clip right now to show you how much of a fool she is, you would see exactly what I'm talking about. Listen, these are agents of chaos. Angela is the real agent of chaos. But what she did was set Charlamagne up. She booked him for a fight because she's not influential enough to get into a spat with Anderson Cooper and survive it. So she pushed Charlamagne up to do it. And Charlamagne better watch out, because when they're done using their tools, they destroy them. I'm telling you, before I even pulled up this episode and read in black and white what was said, I like to read the words, but I already knew this. I realized why the only video we see right now is Charlamagne versus Cooper. But it was Angela who instigated this and continued to pick a whole argument with Anderson Cooper, who said nothing about Kamala's race. Yet Angela started spazzing out about how Kamala is a black woman. It was so stupid. In fact, the whole conversation was stupid and unserious because that's what Angela and Charlamagne aimed to do. Remember, this segment was supposed to be about Kamala and what she would do over the next 12 days to get people excited about voting for her. And all these shills could do was get on there and talk about racism and how it's not fair. So all of the deflecting and distracting, running interference for this lady, Charlamagne and Angela, it's not working. And so yes, they're frustrated. This is why both of these shills went on Anderson Cooper to find somebody to blame and take their anger out on and deflect attention from the real issue of Kamala's incompetence. So they muddy the waters and try to get everyone's attention diverted to racism.
We talk about this every single. This is what
I don't think
I've been
y'all
talking about this
enough.
every night.
I don't think y'all have enough conversations about it. I feel like I heard more on this network about is Kamala Harris black than I do about Donald Trump being a fascist.
Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Let me know what you think about this mess below. Special thank you to Roland C. I appreciate you, Roland, for all of your support helping these videos get out. If you want to show your support for the channel too, you have to use PayPal for now. The link is below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.